how do you reach flow from a business perspective, but also in a physical perspective, and how are they interchangeable?
So flow states have triggers, preconditions that lead to more flow. There are 26 that have been identified. There are probably way more, but that's what we found so far. First thing to know, flow comes in two varieties: individual flow, me in a flow state, you in a flow state, and then there's group flow, right? It's a shared collective flow state, which is two people talking, right? Great conversation, hours go by, you don't notice. That's known as interpersonal flow. You can have group flow or team flow, fourth quarter comeback in football or basketball. That's what you're looking at. And then there's communitas flow at scale. You go to a rock concert, everybody merges with the band, all clapping in sync and one with the crowd. So there are 12 triggers for individual flow, 14 triggers for group flow. So the golden rule of flow, the most important of the flow's triggers, is what's known as the challenge skills balance. Flow follows focus. We pay the most attention to the task at hand when the challenge of that task slightly exceeds our skill set. So you want to stretch but not snap. If I were to put it emotionally, I'd say sort of near the midpoint between boredom and anxiety. Boredom in entrepreneurship, it can be tricky, and business can be tricky.
Yeah.
So it's tricky in two reasons. So if you are shy, if you are meek, if you are timid, if you are risk adverse, it is tricky because it is just outside your comfort zone. So you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You have to get really good at that. For most entrepreneurs, for most hard-charging type A entrepreneurial types, the problem is they love huge challenges. It wakes them up. They will take on a challenge that's 50, 60% greater than their skill set simply because it keeps them awake. And that is both good and bad. So the research into human motivation shows that these high hard goals are great. They give us an 11, 25% boost in motivation. So you want to set them. It's just that you have to chunk down what's directly in front of you, what you're focused on today. So it's that sweet spot, right? So it's about 5% sweet spot. Now, I'll give you two examples in business where we see this being applied. A simple example, I'm a writer. My most important task every day is going to be to advance whatever book I'm writing. Now, when I start a book, I write 500 words a day. Why is that? Because I can write 350 with my eyes closed. But at around 350, I got to transition from one idea to the next. And transitions are hard. So 500 words, I'm stretching. It's going to take a while, but I'm not snapping. In the middle of the book, I sort of know where I'm going. The point here is you got to sort of find your edge. So that's an example of what it looks like in business myself. What does it look like at a corporate level? The classic example is Toyota, actually. So in the 80s, Toyota is just another car company. It becomes the globally dominant car company in the 90s. Why? New management philosophy, Kaizen. Kaizen is two flow triggers combined into a single idea. It's the idea of continual improvement. So autonomy is a flow trigger. So Kaizen basically says you work at Toyota, let's say you work on the assembly line, doing a job that has what we feel is totally mechanical. You put hubcaps on tires. Ownership comes to you and says, no, that's a part of your job. That's what you do. But your real job is to make the entire line better, to make the whole hubcap on tire process better. It continuously improved Toyota as a whole. And suddenly, employees went from I'm doing mechanical labor to I can improve Toyota. I got autonomy. The challenge just went up. The result was tons of flow. Flow underpins peak performance. The result was global car company dominance.